tensions build globally, and we can see this evident clearly in the EU crisis as it expands. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. So much to cover today. Let's touch on this very first article. Russian finance minister told CNBC that Russia would consider giving financial help to debt-ridden Greece, just days after the new Greek government questioned further European Union sanctions against Russia. So this is a fight that is going on, and we have Russia coming out there and perhaps suggesting that they'll lend them some money. And he did say that Greece had not yet requested Russia for assistance, but he did not rule out an agreement between the two countries. So this could very well happen. Now, if it did, what does that say about what Russia is trying to do? See, they're partnering up with all of the nations that seem to get bypassed or ignored or simply hated on by the Western nations. So this is very, very interesting to see where this will go. And, you know, there's more details on this. Let me just get to these articles here. Greece made a few mistakes, but Europe made even bigger mistakes. And this is according to Joseph Stiglitz. When the crisis began, the debt to GDP ratio was 110%. Now it's about 170%. The medicine they gave was poisonous. It led to the debt to go up and the economy to go down. What have I been saying? Probably 1,000 times by now, that as soon as the IMF gets into a nation, it simply gets worse. You have a crisis here, and you're looking at the debt that has absolutely exploded since they said there was a crisis. So you're looking at, obviously, they're doing the wrong things. But every time I mention this, I still have people on here trying to say that it is not the case. Look, everything is just fine. Stop saying there's a problem. But look at this. They're in 170% of GDP, and that's using fraudulent numbers, I'm sure. And right here, given the dynamic, one has to conclude that the creation of the euro has had a negative consequences. Now, what exactly have I been saying? While it was an experiment to bring them together, nothing has divided Europe as much as the euro. That's right. You're trying to bring people together. Sure, you can have treaties, you can have agreements, you can sign on the dot, but oftentimes these agreements lead to unions. That's what's very frightening about what's happening around the world as we see all these partnerships forming. What is the intention of those in control? That is what's extremely frightening to me. So one more article here. Everything just seems like it's going the non-German way, which means that they're trying to get expansion rather than a balanced budget. This is Jim Cramer, everyone's favorite. He's the one that the stock market relies on oftentimes, which is quite sad. And basically, they're trying to go ahead with expansion. This means to me that they're going to take on more risk. If they do so, very, very bad news. But we'll see where they go with that. It's too early to tell. The first wave is, wow, this is bad for the currency. The second wave is, wait a second, the guys who want more growth just won. And I don't think growth is necessarily a bad thing in many instances, but when you're gambling to do so, that's a problem. So again, we'll have to see what they do with that. Now look how interesting this is. Very convenient. I wrote about it in my book, Germany and Greece Together, because we're talking about Germany not really supporting what has happened with Greece. So let's go into this. For a stronger nation such as Germany, there are two possibilities. They can continue to support the weaker countries through bailouts. Alternatively, they can leave the euro behind and go back to their own currency. The people of Germany are outraged at the moral hazard that has been created, that honest, hardworking Germans have to bail out the bankers, not the people, the bankers in Greece and others. Germany has a challenge because they own billions of bonds of other European nations, including Greece. And I have my reference right there. So they have an incentive to keep them afloat. And I knew this was going to be a problem back when I was writing the book 2010, 2011. I knew that this was a problem simply because of what we were seeing. We know specifically that the euro is, something that has to collapse at some point. And it will do so under different conditions. We're not too sure, but right here we see the debt expanding and it's getting worse. I'll move on quickly. Reagan's OMB head, He said this is a massive windfall to the 5% of the 1% wealthiest American households. This prosperity we've had in the top 5%, and that's where most of the consumption growth has been, is entirely a function of artificial ballooning stock prices and other risk assets. Again, this is going into what I have been repeating over and over and over again. You hear it here at the Money GPS, aka the broken record, hearing me talk about the same things. We have the top people, the elite, the billionaires who make the rules, who have the tax loopholes, and they are the ones that actually are able to take the bribes legally from the big corporations, mega corporations, and they then make the laws that give them the loopholes, that give them the tax breaks. So what does it suggest to you when I'm reading something like this? Of course, this is absolutely the case, and we didn't need Reagan's OMB head Stockman to tell us that. We just look at the stats. Look at how, right here, he says, meanwhile, the Main Street households in America are not doing well. Their incomes are not growing. Very obvious right now. Where to stash your cash? Some Americans are sleeping on it literally. And this is what I've been also suggesting, that people are not... They are fearing the banks right now. We have bank runs that are going on in Greece. We have them going on everywhere. In fact, while banks are still on the go to the solution for most consumers, 29% say that they're keeping at least some of their savings in cash, bills, and coins. According to a new survey of these holding cash savings, 53% are hiding it in a secret location. We have people keeping cash. They don't know how to invest. The average person is not aware of real assets. They just think the banks aren't safe. I'll keep the money at home. That's what they know to do. And, you know, this isn't really necessarily the best idea. You maybe want to keep some, but you definitely don't want to keep all of your savings. It is very risky to do so. You want to keep them in real assets. But it at least shows us, it gives us an indicator stating specifically that these people are worried about the banking system. Why? Because they have less trust in their government, because they know they're taking the bribes and they're committing all of these crimes. Senate pulls brake on Keystone Pipeline bill. Now, look at this. Democrats in the U.S. blocked the Keystone Pipeline from moving forward, but supporters of the project vote that they would go ahead and do this. So we have this pipeline that wants to basically connect Canada in all the way down to the Gulf. The Senate voted 54-37 to limit debate on the bill that would allow Congress to approve the Trans-Canada Corp project to link Canada's oil sands to the refineries on the Gulf Coast. They needed 60 to pass. Of course they can't do this because there are others, really big, important people involved in this. Now they say it's, oh yes, it's for the pollution, it's for this and that, but we know specifically that it's never that case because they don't care about pollution. They don't care about the fact that there is overforestation going. They're chopping down all the trees in the world, not planting enough. They are polluting the environment with toxic waste dumping and nuclear waste that is leaking into the drinking water supplies and into the whole ecosystem, the groundwater and so forth, that they don't care about. This isn't about that. It's about protecting people. And look at this. Out of the Washington Times, Buffett would profit from the Keystone cancellation. That should have a light bulb going off in everyone's head. Warren Buffett, whom President Obama likes to cite as a fair-minded billionaire. Right there, I have to stop for 1 second. You see him, he's so loving. He's eating his ice cream. He's drinking his Coca-Cola. Oh, he's so innocent, donating billions of dollars to Bill and Melinda Gates. Don't even let me start on that. While arguing for higher taxes on the wealthy, and he doesn't mean him, he means the upper middle class, stands to benefit from the president's decision to reject the Keystone XL pipeline permit because he owns, through Berkshire Hathaway, this company here, Burlington Northern Santa Fe LLC, which is among the railroads that would transport the oil produced in Western Canada if the pipeline isn't built. That's right. Now, even he suggests, you know what? Oh, that pipeline is not really a threat to us. But here they are talking about it, and it makes a lot of sense to me, perhaps not to Buffett, even though we know the reality of the situation. out of Bloomberg. This is where it goes down, the corruption, and we know that things are getting bad when this happens. Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen told Democratic lawmakers that there were no plans to raise benchmark interest rates immediately, according to Senator Chuck Schumer, after the central bank on Wednesday boosted its assessment of the economy. So, a couple things here. They only told the Democratic lawmakers. What about all of the rest? Why are they not making the statement public? Why are they going directly to this individual here? And Chuck Schumer, I want to go into one thing that is very important that, of course, the mainstream media simply will not cover. OpenSecrets.org. We're going to look at Senator Charles E. Schumer. Let's look at his career and who he's getting money from. Well, they have contributors, and this is from 1989 to 2014, and look at the top four: Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, JP Morgan, and Morgan Stanley, giving him, literally between all of them, millions of dollars are being given to him, and then he's being given information from the Federal Reserve. He is also part of all of these schemes, the bailouts, and he uses his propaganda to basically get his cohorts in and have them vote on these bills that they never read, all because they're all part of the same gang. It's collectivism that is taking place, and you have the corporations and the government becoming one and the same, and you can call that whatever you want, but it is not a free republic. It's not a democracy even. There is no republic that is being defined here in the United States any longer. But of course, it's not just the United States. We can't focus all the time on the US, because we need to realize, look how the problems are in Europe. We're finding maximum amount of debt. So what happens when you allow technocratic elite to make decisions for you and your country? Well, you have increased debt, you have more unemployment, you have a crisis that continues to expand, that is a threat to the whole world, in fact. And here we have the same problems in many ways. In fact, they're being hidden, and actually, in truth, they're much worse in the US. So this is a global problem that is going on right now. Today, there is corruption in the government structure. We can see it with the campaign contributions, which are defined to me as legal bribery. Then you look how that affects everything: the stock market, the individual, the middle class, not making the amount of money that they were before. They are in poverty, they are suffering right now, and it is very clear how this affects the whole economy. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. Stay tuned. We're going to have a live Q&A session. I promise. I'm trying to get so much done with the Money GPS. I'm working on all kinds of programs. I'm still working on the website. Construction is being done there. The Insiders is exploding. We're heading towards 1,800 people on there as well. I hope that you're loving those emails. I'm getting emails from you guys all the time, whether it's saying thank you or whether it's questions that you have. If they're very detailed and you want me to get into this, it's hard for me to do so over email. I will do my best, of course. If you want a consultation, just the best place to get me is, in fact, on the Insiders, because the David at the Money GPS, which is my general email, it does get backed up really badly, and there's about a week or so delay. So try to get to me on the Insiders if you can. It's definitely where I reply to people first. And just to note, there is so much more coming from the Money GPS. I don't want this to be just a YouTube channel. I want to have programs for each and every type of individual. If you're in debt, you have no money, I'm going to have a program, a free program, as well as a premium program. But definitely first, I'll have a free program, what you can do your best, in fact, to get out of debt. And it'll be a step-by-step video series for you to get out of debt. And then there'll be ones for people that are, children, for example, what to do to save your money, save a little bit of your allowance, or work, cut the neighbor's grass, and so on and so forth. And there'll be a series for that. And there'll be a series for every different type of individual. And then that way, for any individuals who are coming on here who are looking for intelligence for themselves depending on their situation, because there are people all over the world, different ages, different races, different religions, and everything, all different goals in mind, viewing the Money GPS. We crossed 15,000 subscribers. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you new subscribers on here. Hello. And essentially, they're all maybe looking for different things. So I'm going to have a program for each one of those people, and that way we can expand the truth and not just focus on necessarily what the news is, but it is important, of course, but we want to get into the deeper stuff, and we want to bring people in and have them teaching, basically using my teaching to have them to learn the truth and learn really how to make themselves in a better situation, whatever that might be. So I hope that you understand my intentions here, that are, with the best of intentions. I'm trying to do what I can to bring out the truth, to bring out the information, and I know that you respect that, and I really, really do appreciate that. Thank you very much for listening to my ranting, of course, and if you're not already, you have to become an insider. It's where I give out all my best intel for free, and that is available at themoneygps.com. Just scroll down to the bottom, fill in your email address, and you get occasional emails from me with good, short, concise info.